Good afternoon, everybody. It's almost 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and I wanted to say hi today. Talk about failures today, but not really. They're learning times, learning moments. And if you change up your verbiage and call it, learning moments, then I think it'll be easier on your mind than saying that everything's a failure. And I want you to be aware of, and you maybe are aware of this, that family and friends, I don't always think they mean well by saying, what made you take that risk? Well, first of all, I was asked that, like, why did you ever think you could run a restaurant? Well, it was asked just like that, from somebody who never takes a risk or does anything. So I had to understand who's asking the question, number one, and not let it get to me, because it was hard enough to have a restaurant go and have a plant nursery not go like this, but that we willingly shut it down. We willingly shut the restaurant down too. It wasn't like somebody, like the failure police came along and went, this isn't going to do it. We made that decision. So, and wisely so. But I have to look at the source when people make comments. Have they ever done anything like this? No. They might say no because we're not that stupid, but honestly, the truth of the matter is they don't take risks to do anything. They always take a safe road. And that's okay for them. But for me, it's never about taking necessarily a safe road. It's about exploration. Exploration, when I was told that exploration was just not finishing things. But that's not true. When you explore, you might climb, you might go through part of the Appalachian Trail on a hike, which I did. But that doesn't mean because you did not go the whole route that you weren't a success. I was a success because I made it as far as I did. So when my takeaway from, oh, thank you so much, hon. I'm glad you're here with me today. I look at those things that I do, and was it wrong of me to take up knitting and then give it up? No, it was not, because I did not enjoy it. Was it wrong of me to try to run a restaurant or try to run a plant nursery? No, it was not. So, but what is the upshot of all that? What is the takeaway from things that did not go the way you expected? It can be with relationships. It could be with anything that the world will say is a failure. But as long as you learn something from this, that you have to pat yourself on the back and go, okay, I don't want to make that mistake again. I had to look at my relationships and go, oh no, I'm going to be fussier. I'm going to take a higher moral road, a higher ethical road, and I'm going to have a better life than, because of the decisions I make, going down a path that's not good for me. So I changed it. And let me see what you guys are saying. Hey, Lisa. Oh, good, Lisa. You should put on there what the legal terminology book is in the comments, just so other people, might get a heads up on it if you feel like it. Don't feel pressure. I don't put pressure on people. Just saying. So, how does this play into the paralegal field? How does, me making mistakes and opening businesses up? Well, then I went into the corporate job that was very, very bad. And when I left that job, because they made that job part-time, I left that job, and it was good that I did leave, because it was not a pleasant place. And then I went into the legal field. So it was all meant to be. And was every legal job enjoyable? No, it was not. And that's what I try to pass on to you all. And when you do go on interviews and things, that you should be well aware of what you're getting into. Watch yesterday's video, and on here, or if you are on Facebook, come and see us all. There's mostly newbies on my page over on Facebook called Paralegal Coffee Talk. Okay. Hang out there too if you are on Facebook. So how did the mistakes in business help me? Well, it taught me to bounce back when I had trouble bouncing back before, because my family was all about, you tried that, it didn't work, so you're really not good at trying things. That's not true. That's not true. It just wasn't the right area. I've been in the legal field for 28 plus years. I think it's a keeper. Yeah. But that was because I took a chance. It wasn't a risk to jump in. It was not a risk. It was a risk, what, of my time? That was it. So that's why I say don't go into debt, if at all possible, to get into this field. Okay? If you are thinking about paralegal school, I want you to really, really sit down and ask yourself why. Because you're making an assumption that it's going to teach you the practical side. It doesn't always, okay? So the takeaway is more important than the event that didn't work. How's that? So being in a legal job, a paralegal job that wasn't good, I just had to kick the dust off my feet and go to one that was better. And I did that regularly, because sometimes you don't know what you're getting into until you're in it. And that's what I call the exploration time. I will do the best interview I can, find out the most information I can, get a lay of the land as to what kind of person this is I'd be working with. I mean, they're doing the same thing, but you have to do that too. And so the exploration is very important. You finding out, you binge watching all these videos here is very important. Watching the videos on the Facebook page as well. And if you're just not a Facebook, you're not on Facebook, that's okay. Just watch them here, okay? There's over 200 videos here, approximately. So, interviews. Yes, I failed at some interviews. I knew it. I just felt like I wasn't at the, on my game or something. And I would think, how could I have done that better? When I left, I would think that. I'd write down some questions I should have asked. Every step, every interview, I looked at it as a practice session. I really did, whether I got hired or not. And many times I didn't get hired. Many times I didn't get an answer to my cover letter and resume. But a few times I got telephone calls. And that's what helped me develop my course that I'm launching this week called Cover Letter Secrets. And then the whole mega course, the mastermind course that I have launching in January, on January 5th through the 12th is the registration. That is like the whole enchilada. This is just a piece of it that is launching this week. If all you need is help with cover letters and that type of thing, and mine are extremely powerful, then I would look at this course I'm launching this week. But more about that later. Excuse me while I just attend to my nose here. The interviews helped me tighten up my process, with the questions I asked. And so I tried to land as many interviews as possible. The thing is landing them, right? And so you have to have something to offer the law firm. Don't be sending out resumes and cover letters that are the same identical thing for every lawyer that places an ad. That is a huge mistake. Huge mistake. So know what you're doing in that regard before you send out your info. That's why you won't get calls. One of the big reasons. I mean, it could be that you don't have the basic foundation skills you need too. If you have incredible customer service skills, that's just one spoke in the wheel. That's an important spoke, but that's just one spoke. Mistakes at work, attorneys taught me how to back out of mistakes. If the attorney told me to file something and we weren't supposed to file it, and then came rushing into my office, you didn't file that, did you? Of course I did. So we would figure out how to reverse that. We figured out how to solve mistakes or errors in judgment, whether they were mine or his or hers. We figured that out. Okay, most everything is solvable or fixable. So the loose ends that I had, meaning I didn't know where I was in a case, like what progression, like where were we? What did that even mean? I didn't know what that meant in the beginning. And so I learned how to manage cases by working in a specific area of law that had very tight deadlines. And I learned how to manage those cases so my attorney could pick up something from my desk and know where we stood on everything. So I teach that in the Paralegal Inner Circle class that launches in January. So be sure that before you end up jumping into this field, just wait 2.5 months and come into the class, okay? And take that class before you end up, not hearing back from attorneys and wondering why, and, oh, they must only want experience. Not true. Not true. They must only want a certified paralegal. Not true. So not true. I've been told, Leslie, it's not like it was 28 and a half years ago. Listen to me. It's still the same as it was 28 and a half years ago. Attorneys can hire, because they so choose, people with zero experience, but it helps if you have some legal knowledge, and that's what I teach in my course. So that's to give you an edge. So get ready for January, okay? Don't miss it, because it won't be available after the 12th of January. The registration's 1 week, and then it's gone for months. All right. So the loose ends, and working with an attorney who needed to have that information in front of her, that helped me for the rest of my career in helping other attorneys. I've had attorneys laugh, thinking that the way I managed cases and using something that I developed was ridiculous. And then we never missed a deadline. Okay? The facts speak for themselves. The proof is in the fact that we never missed a deadline. So was it specialized software? No, it was not. It was something much simpler that I developed. And I give that to you. It's so simple, you'll go, oh, that's what this is? Yes. But people aren't using it. And I see people wondering where they stand on their cases. I walked into a law firm, was hired, and they hired incorrectly before me, and was somebody that didn't take the time to learn. And so she was making mistakes left and right. And this particular attorney needed a seasoned veteran because he was so loosey-goosey with everything. He just didn't care about being in the office and that type of thing. So when I was interviewed, the question was, how will you help me? And I had to be ready with that answer, and I was. And then he hired me. And then I ran, he said, I don't know where I stand on any of my cases. That is ridiculous, but it happens. And so I went through every single one of his cases, and we went over them together and figured out where he stood on all of them. And we had my system in place. Now he was at first going, oh right, yeah, like really, it worked like a charm. And he could call in and I could tell him where we were on every single case. what's going on. And I would scan down, and yes, I also used a calendar. So I have 3 things that I use, and I teach you that in the course. So do I feel like mistakes were my greatest teachers? Yes, that was like one of the greatest teachers, was making mistakes and learning from them, and also watching other people make mistakes and not making those. So is it the end of the world? No. Family and friends would have us believe that it's a crime against humanity to make a mistake. That's how I was made to feel as a kid. And you carry a lot of that stuff with you. And sometimes even spouses can play into that. But I called a halt to that type of thinking in my married life, my parents, and friends. You know, I had told my mother, that I changed jobs again on the phone. I just shared, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not going to tell your dad." And I was laughing to myself because I gave myself a humongous raise because I had the guts to ask for that. This is after I had some experience. I had the guts to ask for that amount of money, and they said, "Okay." I almost fell off my chair, but I was like, "Thanks. Okay, great." And so I was making very good money, and then switched after a year to another law firm where I had to take over this attorney's, and the one that didn't know where he stood with his cases. So there were the mistakes I made in not asking the right questions in interviews, and then I would get into a job where it's not really the job I wanted, not as much of a paralegal job as I wanted. And so I'd go, "Okay, well, I'll bide my time. I'll stay here for a year, and then I'll trade up," which I did. I never felt stuck. I had to not listen or worry about what my spouse thought, what my parents thought, what anybody thought, but it's between me and him. That's it. So I want you to not be afraid of making mistakes, that you learn, though, as much as you can before you dive into this career, and then you make sure you have that foundation. If you've watched a lot of videos here, I talk about foundation skills a lot, right? That it's filing, typing, English grammar, spelling, proofreading. Proofreading will make or break your career. Your attorney is never your proofreader. Didn't go to 7 years of school to be your proofreader, okay? So don't ever think that, "Oh, well, I'll just do the best I can and turn over crap to that attorney." No, that's not how we operate. We turn over the best product to that attorney that we can, and they may make revisions, but they shouldn't be correcting our boner mistakes, okay? So I learned to be more careful that way. I learned to be an excellent proofreader. And my typing speed, I'm sure, wasn't as fast as it ended up being because I was typing every day. If you don't type every day, your speed isn't there. That's what starts to diminish. But if you type every day, and if your typing speed is below 60 and you want to get into the paralegal field in a private law firm, then you need to up that to 60. If you're 45, you need to just keep taking typing tests and get your error rate down to like 1 or 2 mistakes and get that speed up to 60, 65-ish, okay? You can do it. It's just, how could I go from 25 words a minute in first year of typing to 60 something in third year of typing? I mean, how can you do that? It's from practicing every day. And I only practiced an hour a day. I didn't have an electric typewriter at home. So it's just practice and getting that error rate down where it's like 1 or 2 errors at the most, and then get your speed up, speed up, speed up, okay? All right, so that's it for today. Mistakes happen, learn from them, keep going forward. Don't be afraid to jump in this career because you don't feel like you think you have to go through 2 years of school, or you have to get a certificate, or you have to be certified. That's bogus. So No debt needed to get in this field, okay? No matter what anybody tells you. This is a 28-and-a-half-year veteran telling you, one who has held many jobs over the 28.5 years, and one who is seeing people. Just last week, 2 people that I mentor and that I teach on my page and in a group broke into jobs. So did they go to, did everybody who's broken in just from the YouTube channel? I had people making comments, they broke in, and it gave them the courage to break in, it gave them the knowledge to break in and take that foundational skill set that I just talked about and jump. Okay? Would I recommend you take the course in January? You betcha. You betcha. And I hope to see you there, because we have, there's a private Facebook group, and you can ask me buku questions to your heart's content. And I do 2 live videos a month there in that private group. So where you're not going to get, by emailing me or off my website emailing me. I don't teach through that. I teach through my class and my private Facebook group. And I will answer questions here, but I'm not going to teach a course through here. Okay, so take to heart what I'm teaching you in these videos. Take notes and categorize those notes, meaning if it's about interviews, put it in an interview folder or interview section so you can refer back to it. If it's about trial work or whatever it is, the subject is, go do it. Put it in a category. Why? Easy to find. Bookmark places that you find online so that you can find them later. You will need to have that type of knowledge as you go into the law firm. I'm glad that you're here with me. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Well, there's no reason to go. Thank you for that comment, by the way, about the 4,000. There's no reason to go into debt. Some people already have, and one of my best pals on my Paralegal Coffee Talk page that just landed a job did go through a couple of years of school and said, I wish I had found you. You know what? If you're in school now, finish it. But then I want you to watch why I removed mention of my higher education video here, right in this channel. There's a little magnifying glass on my channel. You click that, that's the search area. And you can put why I removed mention, and it'll bring that video up. I want you to watch that. You may think to yourself, I'm going to leave my education on there, and see where it goes. That's okay too. You can test it. But I want you to watch that video, okay? If you're in school, you stay in, finish it, see it through to the end, okay? But then you've got to really take to heart what I'm telling you in that video and test it. Leave your education on, take it off for the next resume you send out. People, you'll see what I say in the video. I won't go in it here. It'll take too much time. But I'm glad that you all are with me. Thank you for being here on live with me. I love doing videos. As you can tell, I have several more scheduled, and just ideas that pop into my head that I know will help you. And kudos, Lisa, for getting that legal terminology. It was a book, right? There's also, I think you guys have heard me in a video talk about a legal terminology. It's like a laminated sheet. And that's the only way I can explain it. I think if you put legal terminology laminated in Amazon, you'll find it. I think it opens up. It's not just like one of those two-sided ones. It has a lot of legal terminology. I think that's a great sheet to have with you. Carry with you, so that a word comes up and you're like, you might be watching Law and Order. You might be watching a trial show or court TV. And you're like, what the heck does that word mean? And it might be on that sheet. That's a great way to learn. But it's good to have with you at work, because attorneys will speak a different language. and you need to, yeah. Okay, good, Courtney. Yes. I thought that would be helpful. And I'll, if I remember, and I might not, I'll post a link to it right in the description box here, okay? When I go back tonight, I'll put a different cover on this video, and then I'll probably remember to do that, and I'll get it'll be an affiliate link. I always say that's what it is, but it's easy for you. Like, always look below my videos, in most of them. There'll be a link to my website. There'll be a link to my book, Legal Break-In. I'll start adding links to the new class I'm putting out there, Cover Letter Secrets. But I'll put helps in there sometimes too that I'm referencing in this video, in the videos I do. All right, so questions, comments, always post them below. Don't be shy. I love hearing from you. Sometimes in the live video, they don't show the comments back. So like they do if it's just a recorded video. So it's just really interesting. I'm going to try to look for that tonight. Maybe they're hiding off to the right or something. All right, so have a great day, everybody. I've talked long enough, and I will talk to you in the next live video, which will more than likely be tomorrow. All right, if you can come over to Facebook, come on over there, say hi, and I would love to see you there as well. What else can I tell you? I'm also on Instagram under my name, which is Leslie Sansone Williams. That's the name on my website. And so you can come over to Instagram too if you want to. So have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.